What's going on, yo? Welcome back to another episode of Eastside Flock. I'm Eric G, and today we are talking about one of the craziest, just all around sporting events, and one of probably the greatest failure in U.S. sports history that I have seen in my lifetime. And we are talking about the USA team in the World Baseball Classic. This felt like it was just an easy walk in the park for this U.S. team when you look at this roster. And let me show you the roster of who they had on this team. This was the roster for the USA team for the World Baseball Classic. You had pitchers like Paul Skeens, Mason Miller, Nolan McLean. You had guys on the offensive end like Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Roman Anthony, Pete Pro Armstrong. Like literally every starter, every backup on this team. You had a DH that is known for hitting bombs in Kyle Schwarber. Like, this team was absolutely stacked. Yet, this team lost to Venezuela in the final. And this is the second time in a row that the U.S. has made the finals and not won. And I have to say, it felt like there was a lack of culture that every other team has that the U.S. did not. Let's look at the stats and what went into losing, and then I'll talk more about the aspect of the cultural influence of the World Baseball Classic. When you look at the pitching was not great. I mean, 7th overall, but it was only a 3 ERA. I mean, they had 63 innings pitched, 44 hits, 24 runs, 21 earned runs, 12 home runs. So a lot of home runs given up. But their average was a 194. So it wasn't like there was a lot of necessarily a lot of hitting going on and a lot of just wear and tear. Besides that, it was 63 innings pitched. So a lot of innings pitched. Obviously, they did make it to the final, Venezuela as well. But when you look at these two, they're pretty even, right? Like, this should have been, this really shouldn't have been that close, especially when you go and you look at the hitting aspect. And this is really where I think the U.S. failed. They hit, on average, for 250. They had a 368 on-base percentage, 428 slugging, and 796 OPS, on-base plus slugging. This is crazy. When you look at this lineup, if you were to tell me that the average would be 250 for everybody on this list, I would have laughed in your face. I would have said there is no way in hell that this team is hitting for 250. But I think there's a lot that went into it that wasn't just necessarily on the players, that isn't necessarily being talked about. And the first thing is the fans, man. You look at some of these other teams, you look at the culture for Venezuela, how these fans bring it to every fucking game. It is their heart and soul poured into this shit. Same with Mexico. Same with, Japan. And obviously the Dominican Republic. These are the countries that really love baseball. And the U.S. just seemed to not care. It felt like for a lot of these games, the U.S. did not have home field advantage. And these games were played in the U.S. Now, were they played obviously in places that had high Hispanic populations? Absolutely. But fans should still be showing up. It's not like they're flying far away. Like, it's still in the U.S. They did not have home field advantage really the entire tournament, except for against like Canada, Great Britain. Like, those were the games where it was like, yeah, that definitely a lot of U.S. fans showed up. But there's nothing that goes with it that really can influence a game. There's a lot of energy and a lot of build-up, but the noise just didn't feel there. And not showing up is a big thing. So it is difficult to play in most of your games be away games. With that being said, there's no excuse. You had the best roster. You beat the team that had the second best roster. You could argue they had a better roster just because their pitching was also better. But you look at it, okay, Dominican Republic was better hitting and pitching wise, but you beat the best team. So why did you take a step back when you got to Venezuela and you played it safe and you took that sigh of relief? Like this is crazy. To me, they really were like, all right, we're playing Venezuela. They're, under us in hitting and pitching. They're above us in pitching, but we're like right there. It's fine. We're gonna beat them. Like, they did not do what they needed to do to take care of business. And that's crazy when you have such a good roster. And it felt like all I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like they weren't necessarily loving the game. And I think that's why a lot of these guys want to get paid so much. Why the contracts are so big. Because they don't love the game anymore. It's become a business for these guys. Real talk. It has become a business for guys like Bryce Harper. And yes, he was so emotional when he hit that game-tying home run and so aggressive. Yet, it just felt like there was no leadership per se. And it felt like these guys were just showing up to work. But I felt like there was more pride in guys like Paul Skeens than there was on the hitting side. Nobody was really a leader. And I think that was the biggest thing. Nobody was there. There seemed to be like this lack of community and tight-knit opportunity to step up on the US side. Like, I just don't know. You see all these other teams and they're so just it's for their country, it's for each other, and that just wasn't there for the US. It really wasn't. You had the stacked roster and you couldn't get it done. That's unacceptable. And it makes me think, will guys like Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge be able to get it done in the World Series? Like, legitimately. We've seen Bryce Harper come up short. Aaron Judge have come up short. Then you have, a full stacked roster. I get you're playing the Dodgers. A lot of these losses are to, especially recently with the Phillies and being in, having constantly played the Dodgers. It's difficult. And Aaron Judge running into the Dodgers in the World Series. But, like, these guys cannot get it done. Like, and you had the roster. And that was kind of my first thought. It was like, bro, we had Bryce Harper and Aaron Judge, two guys that are supposed to be, like, crazy. And they weren't able to get it done. And I get it's a team sport, but the media needs to get on this like they get on the goddamn quarterbacks in the NFL. Because this, to me, is ridiculous. Y'all should have easily been able to carry this team and rally this team. But it's like, there's no culture. There's no, like, it's just, oh, it's a business. We got to walk into work and fucking clock in for our 9 to 5. They lost the love of the game. And I think the U.S. has lost baseball. I honestly think that a lot of these other countries just have more love for the game than we do. Italy had awesome, cool culture going on. Obviously, they were eliminated, but they brought something special. The Dominican Republic, Mexico, Venezuela, all these teams really have a lot going for them. And a love of the game that the U.S. just does not have. And I think that that's a problem. And that's a crazy switch. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is one of the worst losses for the U.S.? In my lifetime that I have seen, this really felt like a complete disaster and just absolutely unacceptable. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed rest of your day, night, evening, wherever it is for you as well. Hopefully we will see you in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.